Hello and welcome to Casting Roles, a persistent D&D campaign played by a bunch of theater nerds. Thank you for joining us. If you're liking the show, please don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. And if you want to find us on social media, we're on Twitter at Casting Roles and on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Casting Roles ILM. Our videos are uploaded on YouTube every Friday. But let's go ahead and start the show. Except for last. So ticket takers, after a difficult few days at the Profane Citadel where you overcame the attempting to become a god Ahriman, you made your way back to the island nation of Nuevia, along the way discovering and making plans about your future with what comes next with the Veil, with the Blight, with Caiaphas. You arrived in Nuevia, started to restock and regather materials, and made final preparations and plans for what comes next. With your vessel still about a day out, you've got an afternoon, evening of time here to gather yourselves and brace for tomorrow. So, ticket takers, with that in mind, what would you like to do?
I would like to turn to the group and be like, I have to go track down the pirates. I was gonna give a letter to her daughter, to Arian's daughter, so I'm gonna go. I'm hoping there's a telephone book in the Lamp District, so I'm gonna go try to.
Do you need help?
Try to find that one. So if anyone wants to join me,
I'll help.
Okay, we can stop wherever you want to stop. This is the casual one. I'm just gonna be moving through the Lantern District for a while.
I would like to ready a locate person.
Okay, yeah, you guys start to head out in the direction of the closest kind of train, elevated train platform, and head down the mountain towards the Lantern District, where you can go ahead and make a investigation check, Marlo. And
Okay.
with help with Kaimana.
Can I also be keeping an eye out for my for baby ex-prince boy?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So make a perception check and an investigation check.
For Vicus?
For Vicus.
Okay, so my investigation check is a 7.
Did you roll with advantage because Kaimana is helping you?
Okay, well, I will do that. Interesting. Okay, so that's gonna be an 8.
Starting strong.
And then, why is this one so good though? That's a 24
for perception.
And 21, so 24.
Okay.
That's ridiculous.
All right.
That was all on the same time.
So it takes probably about 2 hours of searching and scanning through a place that you're relatively unfamiliar with before you find a guard station that has the material that you're looking for. So you lose a little bit of time in your investigation, but you do come across a guard station where they keep the registry of non-Nuevians that are in the Lantern District. You'll need to succeed on a persuasion check to allow them to use it. If you choose to invoke your position, you would have advantage on the persuasion check.
I will invoke my position as awkwardly as I would.
You mentioned Abel, the ticket takers, and they are much more willing to listen to you.
Okay. God, a natural 1. What is happening to me today?
These dice.
Can't knock us through the blight. We gotta get better, guys. Okay.
Get them out now.
Persuasion, we said?
Yes.
16.
16. With a little bit of convincing and an explanation of the reasoning, whether it's the real reason or not, they eventually do share with you that the location of the people that you're looking for. Who all are you looking for here, or just Saphira?
Yeah, I'm looking for Saphira,
Mhm.
and if Vicus has been like, if they know like what direction he kind of like went in.
Oh, okay.
with
So
the palace.
they point you in the direction of a bar called the Wayfarer's Cove for Saphira. They said that that Vicus he's not like living down here. He's just exploring it on his during his days, and he is going back to the palace at nights. But they said that the last time that they saw him, he was down at the wharf, which is now basically defunct because it's where ships used to come in, and there is no ocean for ships to come in. So he was kind of exploring down in the wharf region. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Is the Wayfarer's Post close to here?
It's probably about a mile walk, but not too difficult for you to find and locate. Cool. And so you guys head off in that direction. Meanwhile, Saurus, what are you up to this afternoon?
I'm going to go find Jane and see if she would like to go on another picnic. Okay.
So you go back to the refugee section outside the palace walls, and you find the park, the inn where you hear music coming from inside, where Marlowe's father is still playing and entertaining people as the days go on. And
I will stop by Marlowe's parents while I'm there and just let them know that Marlowe is doing well.
Well, I hope she can come see us before she goes off on whatever other excursion she's doing.
I don't know if she'll be able to or not, but I know she thinks about you, and everything she's doing in part is to keep you safe.
Well, clearly she did the right thing by rescuing you and getting you back here. It's nice to meet you, Saurus. We've heard a lot about you. But I know you will keep her safe in return.
She is my best friend. I will do everything I can.
All right. And so they give you a Veltland hug, as Veltland mothers are made to do, as you go off in search of Jane, where you find Jane sitting under a tree, reading a book. And the moment she sees you, she gets up and runs over and gives you a hug. Saurus, I was so worried about you. I thought. I mean, I knew that the ticket takers would find you, but it seemed like it was a dangerous position.
It was, and one I wish I had not found myself, but it was the thing to do to keep everyone safe. Oh. And I knew they would come for me, so...
Yeah, you've got some incredibly trustworthy friends.
Strange though they may be, yes. I literally trusted my life with them. And I knew that they would do what needed to be done to make sure that Ahriman did not become a god, which he did not. So it was a good day all around.
Are you here for long, or are you off back into danger soon?
Unfortunately, back into danger tomorrow. But I have the rest of today, so I wanted to know if you might like to go for another picnic, maybe?
Absolutely. Do you mind if I pick the spot?
You did so well last time. Absolutely.
Let's go raid the pantry and see what we can put together in a basket and head off to... It's a very nice location.
And if we need to raid the palace pantry, I will happily invoke Abel's name.
I've got a few. I've been baking and cooking some delicious things, and so I've got a few
You
things
met
in my house
Medora?
here. Yes.
Her buns are amazing.
Out of context, that means something different. She goes, yes, I've got a few of the Northwick buns in the house. I'll make sure to throw those into the basket as well.
Okay.
She kind of guides you over to the small cottage space that she's been occupying as part of the refugee settlement here.
Do I pass any flowers?
Yeah, the garden is filled with flowers.
I'll pick a couple of them and give them to her.
She takes one and kind of puts it behind her ear, pushing her hair to the side, and then just holds on to the other one. And then when you get to the house, she prepares a lot of things that would be easy to picnic with, and make sure to wrap up the Northwick buns that she had purchased and puts them all into a basket as well. And she guides you off towards a spot for you all to have a picnic.
Okay.
Abel, what are you up to?
So at first I was torn. I was spending the earlier hours with my father to just check in with him, and see how he's adjusting with mother away and his new prosthesis that he has to wear, and just kind of catching up about what all is happening at the Blight and what is the adventures of the Ticket Takers. I am curious to know how much information has the public been made aware of as far as the work that the Ticket Takers have been doing and the dangers at the Blight.
So as you guys are kind of having this conversation, you get to this point, and he says, the Sovereign made it quite clear after the battle that took place that the Ticket Takers were essential in the success of our victory. They did everything short of, I think, proclaiming a state holiday in your honor, I think. But I believe it may have been somewhat of a political move on the Sovereign's part to make it very plain and clear that you, Abel, are a member of the Ticket Takers.
I think it is important that the public knows the efforts, not for my own benefit, but my friends deserve the recognition, especially Solace and the sacrifices he made, giving himself over to Aruman. It's good. I'm glad that the information is getting out there. And how are things going with yourself? Are you adjusting well to your new prosthetics? Or
He kind of flexes the arm for a moment. No, it works almost as good as the original arm. Much stronger and more durable as well, which is very nice. Adjusting in other ways, I was never one for statecraft, and with your mother out and a lot of the city's defenses falling on me, I find myself in a more administrative position than I would prefer. Would much rather be sitting behind my forge, wielding a hammer.
Yeah. I think it suits you well. The city has not fallen into chaos, and you have a steady hand, and that is true for if you're working at your forge or behind a desk signing declarations and documents. So.
Well, Noavians are not prone to chaotic decision-making, so I do not think that you have much to worry from the people.
That's not always true. Sometimes chaos may be the only option. in certain situations, there's something I think I should tell you.
There was no period. It just went. It was like, Chaos is great. I have to tell you something really quick. All right. He is listening, but is letting you continue. As his insight was high. His insight was high enough to pick up on the fact that you were struggling with something.
Well, my father knows me well. I'll show him the device that I crafted together to capture Aruman's spirit and explain to him what has happened. And my idea is that if we're going to have to face off against the god of death, the man who wanted to overcome the veil and the source of the veil, would have ideas on how to stop his rampage into the material plane. I've had one conversation with Aruman so far, and obviously he has not been so forthcoming, but I hope some solitude will help to persuade him to assist us. Even he does not want our world to be destroyed. You know, his plan for preventing that was very self-serving.
Abel, as a master of the forge, I am very keenly aware that sometimes what seems to be a broken piece of metal can be reshaped, melted down, brought into something new and useful. However, this is someone who wanted the power of eternity. Have you not given him his wish?
No, I don't believe I have, but I am not arrogant enough to believe I am 100% correct. And if I did believe that, I would not be sharing with you right now. But I'm also not overly prideful, and I can admit that Aruman is a very intelligent being, and he could be helpful in the goals that we want to achieve. I don't want to lose anyone in this battle, and it is the final battle against a god. And as much as I don't want to lose anyone, I have to admit that more than likely we will. Using his knowledge could prevent the amount of loss we have to suffer.
Well, I think that you are old enough now and have seen enough to make choices of your own, whether your father or mother would agree with them. I will, however, from fatherly concern, strongly suggest caution. Aruman was silver-tongued enough to turn your very mentor and tutor, a man who has dedicated his entire life to the preservation and success of Nuevia, against his own people. Do not get caught up in the same web as Yakuzi.
I will take your advice to heart.
A spirit once bound can always be freed, and a loose spirit as powerful as Aruman may find a vessel. Keep it close and guard it. You have created a prison for yourself. You are now the caretaker of a dangerous artifact.
Well, I'm used to dark spirits attaching themselves to me at this point.
As he thinks back through all of the stories of that you've told him of dark spirits. Well, I have work to attend to for the afternoon, but the forge is open for you if you have anything that you need to prepare. I believe that Jaren is working there today.
I think I'll go for a visit. Question, how long has it's just been like a day, right? Aruman's been
So you guys, so you locked him away. You went to you went to the Luditrinian home, and that's the night you spoke to him. This is the next day. Bless you. This is the next day.
Thank you.
been like 24 hours.
Yeah, since the last time you spoke to Aruman.
Okay. Visit the forge and visit Jaren. And here I just want to go over some of the things that I've been working on. The new mount that did you give it to me, or
it's in
already have?
it's in the description for the.
I mean, but I have access to it technically, right?
It takes an hour to construct.
Okay. So I'll go over the plans for that.
And that's an
also,
hour with the Everspark. So it's not like the Everspark doesn't decrease that amount of time. That's how long it takes with the Everspark.
Gotcha. And also the plans for the other thing that we talked about. I'll go over with Jaren, just spending quality time about the horde.
No, send me a message. I don't remember what that was.
You don't remember? And I called it the yeah.
Yeah, send me a message reminding me.
It wasn't like something that I wanted to make now. Just something like in the future. Abel has plans to help boost the defenses of Nuevia.
I remember that. So are you asking Jaren to help you with the construction of with the Everspark? Okay, cool. So you arrive with Jaren. He greets you. You do all of that. You're beginning the process of constructing.
Stuff. Hold hands. Oh yeah, whatever.
You're constructing your boon now that the Everspark has been awakened. Jury, what are you doing with your afternoon?
So I'm like hanging out with Nyroi, but I want to roll because I don't want to tell him that we're about to go fight God. That seems like a lot to tell someone.
So you're just being deceptive?
Yeah. So let's
this
see.
This boy is too trusting.
Am I a shitty boyfriend today, bro?
No.
Oh, he's not gonna be able to get past that. That's a 28.
Well, Nyroi wrote a natural 1 because he trusts you implicitly.
No. It makes me feel bad, but I feel like it is the right thing to do. He's not even trying to see if I'm lying. It makes me feel like shit.
No. Stop lying to your significant other.
Hey, it's a lot to tell someone. He doesn't want to stress him out. It's just to stress him out.
Juries lie to themselves. They're now branching out to others.
Something ever again.
I know.
So Nyroi kind of is like, so are you're going off into something more or less dangerous than where you just came from?
It's probably going to be more dangerous than that. But, I think it'll be okay. I hope it'll be okay. So.
Well, are you leaving today?
Yeah, we don't know how much time we have. So, earlier, the better.
Well, then, if you don't mind, I suppose we can make the most of the time that we have.
Yeah.
Marlo's mother has kind of taken over as the cook at the local tavern. I think that her father and mother are doing their best to push out the owner of the tavern and just take over as entertainment and things. But she puts together quite a delicious spread if you'd like to have some entertainment and food for the evening.
Yeah, I think I would like that.
All right. Let's take a walk through the park and then head that direction.
Yep.
All right. So you and Nyroi take the long walk around the park and then head off towards the tavern where most of the refugees have made their home for an afternoon meal and an evening. Marlo. So as you and Kaimana are exploring the Lantern District, you find yourself at the Wayfarer Coast, and it is a 2-story tavern, bright blue shuttered windows, kind of a white paint that for years of sea mist has yellowed and cracked in places, a hanging sign over it with like a carved whale with the word Wayfarers on the whale, and a sound of people talking and enjoying their time on the inside. But as you enter in, your eyes adjusting to the space, you see
a mailbox outside.
There is a mailbox
like
outside.
A little mail slot?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm tempted to just kind of leave it in there.
Okay.
Well, we gotta make sure he's the right place.
I guess so. I don't know. I should deliver it in person. I don't know if I should deliver it in person. Okay. All right.
Okay. So you enter in, and there are 5 or 6 kind of salty looking, what you can probably imagine are, we were sailors. We had ships. The ships were left behind and we've been here drinking ever since type people. And one, a barmaid walking around, youngish, probably in her mid-20s, a short like bob of a haircut that is a little bit angled in the front and undercut, like shaved underneath. A tattoo peeking from underneath her bloused collar, like kind of a red sash around the waist and black pants. And she kind of approaches, are you all drinking today or just gawking?
We'll get drinks. We would love to get drinks. Me and my friends would love to get drinks.
I would like a beer.
A beer? I'm sorry, Lutrinian.
Yeah.
Are you of age to drink?
Yes, I am.
How old are you?
He is.
I'm the Kakoa.
That is not an age, it's a title.
If in his in our years, no, but in transferable for their lifespan, yes. So I don't think it's fair to necessarily.
Do these gray whiskers look like they belong on a 10-year-old?
Did you have your adult ceremony? Are you?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Yes,
thank
I
you.
This kid has drunk across the entire continent by this point. I don't think we should stop him now.
All right. Just ale, or would you like anything harder?
Oh, just an ale.
All right.
Just an ale.
Yeah, just an ale.
She goes.
It's not noon yet.
She goes and grabs 2 large tankards and kind of sets them down on a high top table nearby, 2 copper, and you slide the money across. And she says, can I get you anything else? This used to be one of the best establishments for seafood in all of Noavia, but the sea long left us. So I don't recommend the seafood.
Kaimana, do you want anything?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, I'm Marlo Avion. That's my full name. You could call me Ma.
And I'm Kaimana, the Kakoa, the of age Lutrinian.
All right. Pleasure to meet you. I'm Saf. I'm your barmaid. If you need anything, please just call
I'm also,
out.
by the way, John, and we'll explain this later. I'm triggered whenever you mention barmaid now.
Yes.
The second she's like out of sight or not looking at us, I like slowly put my head on the bar because I'm failing this so badly. Come on, I don't know how to do this. Come on, this is so awkward.
Do you need help? I can help you with
No,
that.
I promised I would do it. I just. This is weird. What if she's mad? What if she doesn't believe me? What if it's. Ugh.
I think you'll be fine. Like, she's gonna be in a much better mood now that we've paid.
That's true. Yep.
And a letter's a letter. They can't judge you for what's in a letter.
That's fair. That's a good point. Okay.
And if they do, don't worry about it. You didn't write it.
I will worry about it because I will be here in the room feeling the energy.
We're just gonna put some good vibes out there, Mara. We're gonna think it's a great letter. We're gonna think she's been wanting this for a long time. It's gonna be a good letter for her to get.
Definitely. Cool. I chugged the rest of this beer.
Whoa.
I said, like, when Saf gets a chance, kind of like call her back over.
Okay, yeah, she makes her rounds again and kind of approaches your table. Well, you made quick work of that one. It's already time for a second.
Actually, does your full name happen to be Saphira by any chance?
Yes, but why do you ask?
I'm supposed to deliver this to you, and I just like pull out the letter.
Is it a summons? Am I being served? I promise I haven't broken any laws in the last 3 weeks.
We don't know what it says.
I do. It's from Aryan Squall Leader.
I don't know who that is.
Insight check.
Yeah. You don't need one, but go ahead.
By the way, I like the way Josh just froze there in character.
I mean, yeah, like a fucking 30.
She clearly does know who this person is, but with a 30, there was a moment of like, I want my face to show you that I haven't thought about this person in 15 years, but I've thought about this person every day for the last 15 years.
That's I'm sorry that you have I met her with the Adventurers Guild. We were doing a thing, and she ended up helping us. But you don't know her, so I don't need to go into that. Sorry. I motioned to take the letter.
She puts a hand out onto the letter. Well, I hope that your time spent with her left you unharmed and scarred.
I have no reason to get into your business, and I won't pretend to know what's happened, especially not your side of it. All I know is that she did not know that you were alive or well or where you were, according to her. And it was only through magical circumstances that she figured it out.
Thank you. I'll read the letter.
Okay. Can I have another beer?
Sure. on the house. And she goes and grabs a refill for your ale and sets it down on the table. And you see her watching her, she takes the letter and like there's a board at the back of the bar and she just like puts it up and puts a dagger through it. And it's just like held there for a second. But if you and Kaimana stay for more than 30 minutes, there will be a moment where she takes the knife down and opens the letter and reads it.
Yeah, we'll stick around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I want to stick around.
Okay.
But not bother her during this time.
Yeah. All right.
Can I make a perception check to see if there's like any real interesting people around the?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and make a perception check, Kaimana.
24.
Good, because you beat the 20 to see this happen. So out the two large windows at the front of the bar, like there's nobody really of interest other than these like salty sailor guys in here, and Saphira, who is a very intriguing, like you get the sense of like someone would write a song about this barmaid at the end of the world kind of like a vibe that she has going on. But you do see someone run past the window, just like
quick.
laughing ecstatically. Mm-hmm.
Real quick.
Yeah.
So you're saying the sailors say Saphira. What a good.
It's Brandy. You're a fine girl. Yes, it is. But it's Saphira. But you do see someone run past the window ecstatically, like the first window, and then the second window, like skipping. And it's just in a brief bit of a moment you realize that is Vicus, like just running past the window in joy.
I point this out to Mar. That was Vicus, right? That was just Vicus.
That was totally Vicus. Hold on. I would like to like go out the door and be like, Vicus?
So you outside and you hear just laughter ringing down the thing, because now you realize that like it's not just Vicus, it's just that Kaimana couldn't see the gaggle of small children running with Vicus as well. And he has a kite, like an enormous kite that's in the shape of like a large dragon that's like its tail is extending, and he's running and showing the kite to the children. The moment you call for him, he kind of stops and he's holding it and he says, "Oh, that's my friend. Hold on a second." And he hands the kite off to one of the small children, and he runs back to
the
bar.
Gets lifted in the air,
taken off by the winds because Nuevia is flying through the air. And he runs back and he goes, "Marlo, did you know what kites were?"
I have been familiar with the topic, yes.
I've never flown a kite before in my life, and I just flew a kite, and I think it might be the best 10 minutes of my entire life.
Kaimana has like chugged his beer so he could get outside.
Kaimana, you're seeing the children running around with this kite now around around Vicus and Marlo. Yeah.
Kaimana's very torn between.
Interrupted.
He's very torn between doing the adult thing and talking to Vicus with Marlo and running after the kite with the kids.
I think it might be a wisdom saving throw for Kaimana there.
Okay, yeah.
And so he says, "Oh no, it's fine. I think I've got a design for how to make my own kite, and then I can just do it anytime I like."
Yeah, that would be great.
And the children said that there's something else called a paper airplane that I think I want to try out as well.
What the heck is an airplane?
I don't know.
We have
it. Paper airship. There you go. Paper airship. Yeah.
Yeah. There's that. There's a lot of. How exciting!
I mean, some buddies might say that, you know, they're watching what may have been a former prince wandering around playing with children things is inappropriate, and I say fuck them.
I agree.
I say fuck them too.
What are you doing down here?
We were having beers.
We were having, yeah, we were just doing a quick drop in.
Oh, you were having beers at the Wayfarers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was Saf working today?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's in there.
Oh, interesting. I
Inside
might have to
check.
stop by. Yeah, go ahead. This boy has really, really bad deception.
I know. I love inside checking people when I know the answer.
Yeah.
This is some Bashir energy.
Yeah.
Another 30.
Yeah, like there is just a tinge of like ruddy cheek when he talks about Saf. Like he's seen like he's got a little crush on Saphira.
Yeah, she she's kind of in a bit of a downer moment. So I don't know if you want to go cheer up or anything.
Maybe not. I've been actively avoiding emotional distress.
That's so valid. Yeah. Yeah, just fly your kite. Just fly your kite. Don't worry about it.
I think that we should just say, like, if somebody's having a bad day, we can just say, go fly a kite.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah. That works.
Do you think that Abel could learn how to mass produce these and we could sell them?
Probably. I
mean, how hard would it
I
be?
don't see why not.
I don't know.
Do we need Abel to do this?
I mean, the children gave me the plans, Kaimana. I don't think that we need Abel. I just think that he might have the ability to mass produce them in a way that might be better than children's work.
I mean,
what's the goal here, though? Like,
I don't know. I'm not a prince anymore. I need some kind of direction in my life, and for a moment, I think being a kite salesman might be where I'm headed.
Well, then, in that case, you should definitely learn how to mass produce them.
Oh shit. Okay.
Hey, start with one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Start with one kite and see where it takes you.
Okay. Do you hear? And he like he goes back to the child and he says, "It's all right. It's all right. Would you like this one, Marlo?"
The kite?
Yeah.
Kaimana starts making like grabby motions.
Oh,
like...
no, I couldn't. You should keep this one.
Oh, okay.
I'm just imagining him being like, "These are my designs," and it's the right flyer.
All right. Well, he hands it back to the small child who goes running off with it again. Did you need something from me, or were you just?
No, we're just happy to see you.
Hi. I just wanted to see what was new with you.
I'm good. I've tried to stay out of all of the information and news. Mother and I are just having dinner together and getting to know each other as people and not as prince and sovereign, which has been very difficult. Mothers are hard. But I think that once Orisha takes care of whatever the problems are down at the Blight and everything goes back to normal, I'm going to go on a little excursion around the area and try to see the world a little bit.
Well, that would be great. We can give you a list of places to see around Alyria.
Well, I'm trying to make plans for tomorrow.
What's tomorrow?
Oh, sorry, meaning the future.
Okay, yeah.
It's
right.
go fly a kite, make plans for tomorrow.
No, you just have a way with words that I do not. So, well, I'm glad you're starting to do well. You deserve that.
Well, just take it one day at a time, as someone said.
Yeah, I mean, it's the life that you lead.
Do you like kites, Kaimana?
Yes, I like kites.
Here, and he kind of reaches into his pocket and he hands it to you. He says, "That's a copy of the directions the children gave me about how to build one."
Kids are so smart.
You can't make any intelligence about what the directions are on how to build a kite for this information.
I can't even roll. This is just
yeah, I mean, like it's like like children's scrawl, and it's definitely like there's definitely an element of it's like their dad clearly did a lot of the work. And so there's pieces missing from the overall plan.
Kaimana's just internally thinking, oh, maybe we do need Abe.
It's that list of like, here are your parts. Now take the fully assembled wing thing.
Yes. Yeah. It's like the British Bake Off.
Step 1.
Build a kite.
They put like speed lines on it. It's like go fast stripes.
Yep.
Like
But if you want to talk to Vicus anymore, or you have your time here.
we're gonna wait for that letter to get opened.
Yeah, I'll take him inside the bar and we won't bother staff.
Okay.
If he's willing to go in, but we'll just like chill and like maybe have like another round and just hang out.
Sure. So as you guys go
and
back,
give him like a list of like children's activities similar to like flying a kite and stuff that like he probably missed out on that like he could go try.
Yeah, never had a childhood. All right. Yeah. So as you guys kind of spend your afternoon with Vicus in the bar waiting for Saphira to read her mother's letter, Saurus, you and Jane are walking in the palace district, and she's guiding you around the palace outer walls. And then you find yourself kind of walking up a hill. And eventually you get to an outcropping of rock that overlooks just the sea of clouds beyond underneath Noavia. And she kind of looks out and she says, I would imagine that this probably once had a beautiful view of the ocean, but an ocean of clouds is quite something incredible to see.
True.
Does this work?
Yes, it's excellent.
All right, and she kind of spreads out a blanket and sets out the basket, pulls out a kind of a bottle of wine and a couple of glasses, and then sets out plates of delicious, like basically a charcuterie board kind of a thing here of some olives and pickles and cheeses and meats and crackers that she had freshly baked, and then the two large Northwick buns as a dessert item there for you to partake in.
Okay.
So let's talk about anything other than impending doom and danger.
I'm good with that.
Would you like to hear the story about how Esperwin and Yorian Taldaran turned tail and ran out of Alyria?
I would love to hear that.
My most recent letter from Iris talked about the story. Not sure exactly how true it is. She was telling me secondhand knowledge. But apparently, Esper was trying to get people into her side of the fight there. And when some kind of weird pyramid structure appeared in the middle of Anavir, and the water started to turn to dust and people's drinks were going stale, they both decided that they were going to lead a force into the pyramid to take on whatever evil entity was there. And the last that anybody saw of them was the two of them beaten and broken and tearing out of the pyramid and heading off out the city gates into parts unknown.
That's just a damn shame. Did the water stop turning to dust, though?
Well, I haven't heard from her in a few weeks. But I imagine if things were getting worse, I would have definitely heard from something. I'm not exactly a good spy for her anymore, being kind of trapped here. And she doesn't seem that interested in the goings-ons here in Noavia.
It'd be hard to get a message in and out other than sending, and there's only so much you can say with 25 words.
Yes. I think she's kind of turned over the island of Nuevia to the rogues as far as it comes of outside influence. I heard that you had an interaction with one of the rogue leaders here.
Yes. They offered me tea. They were very civil.
You drank the
That's one
tea,
thing
of course.
Of course.
You wouldn't
That
be
would be
standing
weird.
here if you had not.
We came to an understanding, I would think. Or at least mutual respect.
She is quite the chaotic sorceress. She could have turned you into a toad.
True. I would have gotten better.
Eventually, I think those kind of spells eventually wear off. She's not a witch. She can't curse you for eternity.
Speaking of which, I've met one.
Witches are real.
Well, yes and no. And I explain about how we took Baba Yaga out of a storybook, this legend, and now they're a real person.
Witches now exist in Alyria. I remember reading books about Baba Yaga when I was a child. She was terrifying.
She's actually quite reasonable when you get to know her.
You just said you called her Bab, so I think that must mean that you're friends.
Well, once again, we came to a mutual understanding and respect of each other. We started off with a fight, and rather than it ending badly for one side or the other, we talked.
And you're saying
Which goes back to Kamana's original thing. Can we talk to people first? And sometimes you find out that you have something in common.
You're saying that
And
she's
I look
setting
at her
up shop
when I
in...
say that.
Oh, yes. She smiles. And she's going to set up shop in Broadfield now.
That seems to be the thing. Broadfield is becoming a very eclectic location.
Well, they used to... before you all arrived, they were trying to model themselves as the crossroads of Alyria, which is such an odd phrase for such an out of the limelight little town. You all might have been the best thing that ever happened to Broadfield.
I think we're the most interesting thing that ever happened to Broadfield. And I don't mean that in an egocentric way. It just... mayhem seems to follow us.
Wow. She kind of pours the wine and hands you a goblet. Well, here's to mayhem and chaos, then.
Going with our strengths.
And she cheers you and takes a drink. Any other conversation you'd like to have, or just spending the evening with Jane, or the afternoon with Jane?
Just like she said, talking about anything but the impending end of the world.
Okay.
And death and gloom, and just regaling stories of each other and things she's seen in Nuevia, because learning about normal people and how they interact is of interest to Saurus.
Yeah.
So.
With that in mind, she would offer to take you through the market, so you can do some people watching with her if you'd like.
That would be excellent.
All right. And so after you finish your charcuterie board and she kind of packs everything up, you walk back by her home. She drops off those things, and then she takes you down through a region of Nuevia called the Clockwork, which is not a space that any of you have spent a lot of time except for Abel. And the Clockwork is the kind of... if Fresh Market was a area of a city, like a high class market with the beautiful produce and beautiful confectionaries. But what makes the Clockwork very interesting is that it is it's also called the City of Masters, because in order to get a space in the Clockwork, you have to be a master of your craft. And the reason why it's called the Clockwork is that there are many master artificers who have set up shop here. And the way that they kind of show their mastery is that they construct a clock tower. And so this neighborhood is dotted with clock towers of many kinds. There are some that tell the time of day. There are some that track the moon. There are some that track constellations. There's a few that you don't actually really understand what they're tracking, but you just see dozens and dozens and dozens of beautifully designed clocks here as Jane is walking you through stalls and markets where beautiful flower arrangers, other people who are bakers and confectioners, people who construct and craft delicious, like mochi ball types things, like watching people make mochi, that type of thing. This is like walking through a Japanese marketplace type feel of the excellence and quality here. And she's just guiding you through and showing the people of Noavia going about their lives, and the unspoken thing between both of you is we're watching people go about their daily lives unaware of all of the dangers that exist out there, and for a moment wishing that the two of you could be a little more like them.
By the way, irrelevant to the discussion here, but important safety tip, folks. If you're eating wasabi peas, don't rub your eyes immediately afterwards.
Yes, please don't.
Just trust me on this one. So if it looks like I'm tearing up about Josh's storytelling, I absolutely am. That's
good. Thank you. Yes.
The more you know. The more you know.
Oh my God, it burns.
Yeah, don't do wasabi in the eye is the
You need
worst.
to go, like, rinse
Yeah,
your
maybe go-
Yeah, you can go rinse your eye out.
I'm going to do that. So we'll leave off
Sure,
with,
yeah.
with Soros and Jane.
Will,
He's crying. He's so happy.
he's so
I
happy.
know.
So happy.
In universe, this happened to Saurus.
Yeah, he ate a wasabi pea and was like, "These are so delicious."
It's a beautiful story.
It's-
Rob needs to watch more hot ones.
This is that scene from Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Look, Doctor, he's crying.
All right.
Oh, you're the lady who.
So as our camera pans out of the clockwork and then heads over to the forge, where we see Abel and Jaren nearly finishing up work on the design that you've got here. All it takes now is aligning the energies with Nancy.
This is for the mount thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, because the way that the tool works is that it summons the mount piece, but you're trying to do it where it's like the Anansi thing, where he can grow into that. This will require an Arcana check for you to merge Anansi's abilities with the mount's abilities.
I don't want him to necessarily grow into it. I just want to model the design.
Okay, so you're not going to do the other thing? Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I still need a Nazi for things.
Well, we talked about having Anansi as the homunculus, but then able to transform into that if you needed him to. But that would mean that you're sacrificing when Anansi's in the mount form, he couldn't be in the homunculus form.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I want to sacrifice
Okay.
Nancy because I still need him to. He's still kind of stealthy and stuff. And
That's fine. So you've taken the time to construct this metallic creature that is at each of the power points of the magical construction. You have spent some time shaping, uncut for the most part, but shaping it so it fits into the construction. Zephrysite. And much like Anansi has the amethyst pieces at each of its joints, this larger construction has the Zephrysite pieces at each of its joints and in its thorax. You're muted because you were laughing so hard because I said uncut.
it's not why I was left.
Uh-huh.
Be more mature, Josh. Do I still need to make the Arcana check?
No, because you're not doing that thing. So as you're looking over the work, Jaren's like, that tool that you have is quite impressive.
It is, isn't it? Apparently, this was a tool used during the Battle of the Gods that was created as a weapon of some sort.
And I think it was probably created not as a weapon, but like in this way, something that could construct weapons of its own.
Exactly, a weapon in the idea that it was a useful tool during the fighting, I guess. But it's been very, very useful during my time out there in the world.
How's Ominira coming along?
You'd be surprised how quickly she is developing. It's astonishing. She's learning and becoming her own person. And I just think the technology to create her is it's just unbelievable.
Well, have you given any thought to, I mean, with the power that you have here, you could make more of her.
Good. I do worry about her being lonely, being the only creature that exists the way she does, but I don't think that is a priority
No.
at this point. Well, maybe something you'd be interested in starting while I'm away.
If you leave me with the plans, I'm happy to look at them and see if I can make heads or tails.
So I trust you with the plans, and maybe if she wants to, Alyria could stay here and help to make decisions on exactly how we bring this new race into the world.
It'd be nice to have something to take my mind off the fact that you're out there in danger.
I'm sorry about that. But there's so much temptation for me to walk away. I try not to think too much about it, but I guess that means I never thought about how it makes the people who care about me feel.
I understand how difficult it might be putting yourself out there in danger. I don't think there's any walking away from it from any of us. It's going to come
true.
for all of us eventually, one way or another.
Yeah, you're right. And I feel much better having a hand in my own destiny, facing it as soon as possible. So if it's going to get the best of me, I'd rather go ahead and get it over with.
Well, I'd very much prefer if you had your way with it before versus the other way.
It's the idea. I'm hoping I have enough experience and enough intelligence at my side that we come out on top. I'm debating on whether or not I should tell him about the screw it. I'll tell him about the Ahriman thing. Get his insight into what is happening.
After you kind of tell him, you can tell that he's slightly reserved.
Excuse me.
I've spent much of my life, Abel, working for shadows who saw me as a very useful tool in achieving the aims that they had set out for themselves. From what you've told me about this man, that's how he views everyone. And I'm sure that even though he is bound for now in this device, he still views you very much the same way.
See, I view him quite the same way myself. And I spoke to my father, and of course, I believe he shares your concern, but if I have to take on the responsibility of guarding this thing for the rest of my days, then I'll do it if it means giving us a better chance against the literal god of death.
Well,
And something tells me that he knows something that will help us.
whether he'll divulge that in time or not to be of any assistance.
If he allows the veil to take over this world, then even if he's able to come back, what would he be coming back to?
I just speak from experience. I've made a lot of deals with devils. You aren't ever untouched by those agreements. As much as you'd like to be.
How about this? I will have one more conversation with him, and if he is not forthcoming, I'll find a way to seal him away forever and make sure he can never escape his prison. Or maybe release his spirit into the afterworld. I mean, if we are able to defeat the slumbering god of death, that should mean that death will return to the lands like it should normally. I'm actually not sure what will happen.
I think we've been sliding into uncharted territory for 250 years. I think you're just about to give it the final push.
Well, I'll give him one last chance, and if he won't cooperate, then we will make sure he won't be a problem for anyone else.
As your evening progresses with Jaren, anything else you are working on or would like to do, or go get dinner? What would you like?
We'll have dinner together. Just spend a nice romantic evening, enjoying each other's company.
Okay. All right. So after you finish the construction of your mount, and figure out the mechanics for kind of the way it folds up into a much smaller carryable device that then you can unfurl on the battlefield when needed. You all head out of the forge and up back towards the palace district to find food. Jury and Nairoi, you find yourselves at the tavern, eating.
I think we just have like normal conversation. Everything's going by very normally. And then I'm gonna take off my circlet, which is like my hat of disguise, and I'm gonna give it to him.
Why do I need this?
I need you to hold on to it for me. I'm gonna come back for it, so.
Is this is like a promise circlet?
I mean, if you want it to be like that, yeah, it's fine. I needed that when I needed to run away from who I was. And I have to be full myself going into what we're doing.
It's very strange, Jury, because you took it off and not very much chain.
Oh, yeah, I haven't been using it like fully as much anymore anyway, so,
I'll hold on to it. But I don't think you need it.
Thank you.
What about me? And he puts it on. And he transforms and he like makes his freckles glow like yours do.
It's really good for freckles,
Yeah.
It just really...
Oh, I can definitely mess with my parents with this, can't I?
Covering your tattoos will be a lot easier, so don't have to...
I can wear sleeveless shirts around my parents.
I'm not giving your jacket back, so it makes sense.
And he thinks for a moment, and the tattoos fade, and it's just pristine, normal blue skin. He's like, "Oh, this is a life changer. You're never getting this ring back."
Okay. Well, all right. Well, I'm coming back for it, but you can use it until I'm back.
Yeah. So I just
giving a ring.
A circlet, yeah. I want you to be safe and to come home, wherever that is, for you.
Make a deal with me. I'll come home safe. Like, put my hand out to him.
What happens if you break the bargain?
I don't really know, actually. But I don't plan on finding out.
What if I make it an extra frightening proposition for you?
I'm just scared already.
If you do not come home safe, I will have to go tell your mother.
Oh, that one really hurts. That's really motivating. Yep. All right.
He reaches out.
That's a deal.
And shakes. And just a tingle of magical energy shared between the two of you. A half Fey bargain. But when all this is done, you have to go to her anyway?
Some point.
Okay. I'll have a bag packed in case you need a Fey traveling partner.
I will. Don't worry.
Can you imagine what kind of book I could write if I spent any time at all in the Fey world?
Wow, you're just talking about, okay, so this is for the book, I see. You
Of
feel like you're
course.
using me in this situation.
No, not at all.
All right.
But your evening progresses.
And then I attune to my cloak of displacement.
You turn back to the two. Oh, the narratively.
It was narratively
Yes,
and
good.
it did make sense. So
all right.
I also wanted the cloak, so I was like, narratively, how are we gonna make this work, bitch? All right, we did.
All right. So as the afternoon progresses into evening, Marlo, Kaimana, eventually a few drinks in, there's a lull in the evening, and Saphira does read the letter, and she kind of looks up in your direction. It doesn't approach, but just gives you a nod. Vicus kind of leans in. She's so mysterious.
My God. I
That letter could mean
Sure.
anything.
good taste, buddy.
Well, I don't know what that means, really. So many choices have been made for me.
Then get to know her. Ask her out sometime. Doesn't have to be on a date, just to, see if you guys get along.
See if she likes clam. Wait, no, seafood doesn't work here anymore.
Wouldn't be applicable anyway.
I don't think clams are the
Actually, asking that question could just entirely ask the wrong thing. So don't do that.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Nope.
Vicus is giving you the exact same look that Kaimon is giving you. What?
All right. I think it's time to go. Come on.
All right. So then you all you head out. So as each of the ticket takers find themselves kind of wandering in different locations around Nuevia, Marlo, Kaimana, and Vicus exploring the Lantern District, Saurus and Jane in the Clockwork, viewing the incredible artistry of craft and culture there. Abel and Jaren walking towards the palace for a meal. Juri and Nairoy sitting in your kind of home away from home tavern for the refugees of Nuevia. There's a moment where all of you feel it before you see it. An energy like a sunbeam, but without any light, kind of rockets through the Nuevian soil. And for a moment, you can see just the shiver of trees, the slight shifting of a banner before the wind takes it back the other direction. Every single person in the city streets stopping for a moment and wondering, is that a tremor? Is the city going to fall? What was that momentary beat? But then as the sun setting on the horizon suddenly finds itself the dimmer of two lights, as a beam of energy shoots into the air from the distance, and you see a blinding beam of light flash from the direction of the Blight, as a secondary shockwave rushes across, and you can tell that this is going to race across all of Alyria. And that's where we'll take a 5-minute break and come back.
You
Tower has fallen.
You son of a bitch.
not even one full day of joy.
I'm going through my calendar like, where did I have this happening? And I was like, oh no.
That's
It was on my calendar
Are we
for
a day
today.
late? Did the Caiaphas bill just
No, we'll come back and talk in more detail about what it is, but
that would be the tower, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's ours.
really bad versus we completely have blown this?
Well, there are
I'm
multiple
really bad.
towers, and
There's
the multiple
still-
towers have
that's-
to fall.
that's only
so not all
one,
the
yeah.
towers are falling.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
that
if
one tower is falling.
falls, then they're moving on to the next,
Yep.
Yeah.
and that's not good. So
We need to get our ass to Anavir.
Josh in this 5 minutes is going to start rolling for our favorite NPCs who died off screen.
no, so like you guys still have time to get there if you would like to go to the Blight. But
Yeah.
just knowing that like
We have to pick
time
people
has
up
caught
there.
up with you slightly in the machinations of the planning of other people. Mhm.
Those fuckers.
Yep.
All right.
Oh,
All
boy.
right, thank you, five.
Take
Key
it
out
back.
of
Yep.
upsetness.
Mhm.
Thanks, Mike.
Yep.
Now.
Yeah. So welcome back from the break. As you are all in your locations, you see kind of that energy shockwave wash across Nuevia, and then there is still just a beam of light way off in the distance. from your perspective here on the floating island, what are you doing?
Quick, to the palm tree.
Yeah.
Well, we're all
Yeah,
separated,
back
right?
to base.
You're all
that's
separated, yeah.
We all need to
We're
like.
not close enough for message to
I'm
work.
honest,
No.
Skywrite a place for us to meet.
Okay. I
What
haven't
do you
prepared my spells.
skywrite?
I haven't prepared my spells for the day, but
Atwood.
say-
I haven't either.
Bad druid. We had a
Bad
5-minute
druid.
break. What the hell?
I didn't think I'd be casting anything. It was
What are you talking-
it was an off day.
That's the perfect time to cast something. This is bard logic. Sorry.
You burn
Bard
all your
logic,
spells.
This is where I
And,
use all my spell slots.
I'm sure we would have like had plans to meet up at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
Back
Yeah, I mean,
at-
there's a place where
I
we're
mean, we
staying.
can all.
So
Yeah, we'd all probably like run to the ship. I'd imagine.
You guys are at
That's where I'm gonna go.
Yeah, we don't need Scar. We're gonna run to
Well,
the ship. Yeah.
Well, because we
ship's not here yet.
As the ship,
No,
The
no,
ship's not
so-
here yet. Yeah.
So,
We're
we
gonna run
meet
to
up
the
at
dock.
the palace. I imagine.
back to the palace. Yeah,
Okay.
that's-
Probably is.
So you
What we
all
would've-
kind of take off in your various different directions off back to the palace.
I'm like, bye, Nyroy. So this is crazy. Goodbye.
Nyroy gives you a hug and tells you to be safe as you take
Yep.
off. And you all eventually find yourselves back at the palace, where there is a torrent of activity taking place here as Ogwyn is directing people to different tasks. And as you come in, suddenly the necklace around his neck glows brightly, and a portal opens in the room that he's in, and Orisha steps through. What are you all doing here? I thought you were on your way to the Blight.
we were going to make our way to the Blight after we resupplied.
Our
the-
ship is also a little slow, you know.
We
can go now.
blipped here ahead of the something tickets that we could get there as fast as we could.
If you are coming back to the Blight, I can take you with me when I go. Just need to check in with the forces here.
What has happened? What was the wave of energy that we saw?
We've never seen that before. That would only occur if a Lightbringer had been assassinated. Somehow somebody must have slipped through and gotten into a tower without us knowing.
You know which tower it was?
Well, it happened right before us at the Blight. As I was leaving, they were starting to muster the troops. I assume that they believed that the invasion would begin there. If the light tower fell, then that means that the veil will be weak, and anything will be able to come through.
Do we need to go straight to Anavir to start?
We
We
need
need
reinforcements. We can
Yeah, we
immediately
have to
travel to Anavir once we're at the Blight with whoever we need.
You need to get to Anavir. I can take you there if everything is taken care of at the Blight.
If we take care of the things in Anavir, then maybe we can keep things from happening at the Blight.
We might need some people from the Blight to help us, though.
We definitely need people.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
I
we
think
can
the
go to
first
Blight
plan
first.
still stands.
Regardless, we'd have to wait for the dragons to get to Anavir anyway.
Yeah.
So we should go now.
Yeah, Ogun and Arisha looking at each other. I believe our son has made plans that we are not privy to, but in this moment of haste, we will trust.
Well, I guess we'll tell them that.
You can tell them whatever you want to tell them.
Yeah, and
Jerry gives you a look like.
there's a kind of, she quickly hands orders out to Ogun from the battlefield, and then she says, if you are ready to go, we can go now. And she holds out her hands. And if each of you take, and then you feel the tug of energy as the teleportation goes off, and you feel yourself yanked through space and time. And then when you open your eyes, you are standing on a barren, desolate hill overlooking a barren, desolate plain. The ground here scarred from battles long ago. The dust purplish red in color. Off on the far horizons, you can see the edges of greenery and forests, but here where some of the battles of the subversion were the hardest, the scar still remains. And you see kind of out below you tents of the Radiant Legion. You see troops mustering. You see siege weaponry being loaded. You see people ready for combat and battle. On this hill nearby, Lunaria Mistweaver and Persephone Mistweaver are standing, kind of talking with one another. And the moment you appear, they look over, and Lunaria nods in your direction, but continues with the plans that she's having with Persephone. Amalia, and Callian are nearby as well, gathering together a couple of the kind of an organization of troops that they're responsible for. Alyria, Bolton, and Anzel are here with you in this space too. And you see kind of off the coastline nearby a fleet of ships that are bearing a flag that you recognize as the Tidewater flag. You see people just kind of gathering and moving themselves into position. But the most, for all of you, terrifying reality is that the Vale itself is about a mile away down this battlefield, a towering wall of roiling mass. And at the edge of it, at the edge of these embattlements, a tower. And that tower has a beam of white light shooting out of the top of it. So she kind of is looking around at things. Okay, it is just as we left it moments ago. What is it that you need from us?
We gather everyone here to discuss something very quickly.
Yes, she kind of motions. Lunaria approaches. Alyria steps up. Amalia and Callian, this kind of core group of people that have supported each of you in your various different journeys, comes forward. Yes.
We have to kill Caiaphas. That's the only way this will end. We're going to interview. The plan is to unleash him from his cage, and in the moment he subsumes Bellinor, that is when he is his weakest, and that is when we strike.
Lunaria says, why would you think that something like that would work? That you can't kill a god.
Well, in fact,
I explained the what Armon had found out and what he had theorized, as well as what the Frost Giants had theorized.
And Persephone kind of puts a hand on her sister's shoulder. I would trust the words of Cypher. She know more than most of us when it comes to ancient magic. It won't be easy.
No, but we have to try. Because this, and I motion to the battlefield, this won't be enough.
Do you know how to open the cage?
No.
Oh.
We were hoping maybe there was some knowledge about that.
Not any that was shared with us. Perhaps, she kind of looks off to another hill a little further, and you see two figures walking down from it to this lower hill. One you recognize as Naginda in his Lutrinian form. The other, a tall, imposing Goliath wearing gleaming platinum armor. He strides down into the circle, and Naginda kind of introduces, well, if you're trying to find a way to fight, I've been informing Bahamut here about your plans. And he bows in deference to his king, and the Goliath speaks. Well, if it's a god that you want to kill, the Empyreans will be at your side.
Thank you. I kind of looked to the rest of the group. If any of you are willing and able, no pun intended, to come with us, then I know we have no right to ask you to go on a mission that is so unbelievably dangerous, but you are the people we trust the most.
And who can make the most difference.
As you say, Odisha kind of says, it is not, you are looking at the people who are probably most capable at keeping. She looks out at this battlefield. As many of these men alive as possible. Is there a way that we can quell some of the fighting here and buy a little time before we go?
Definitely. We can send you word right when it's time.
And as you say that, Odisha, who kind of had turned to look back in your direction, suddenly you see this, as an abjurative wizard, you suddenly see this flare of energy around her, and she throws up this shield behind her, and you see hundreds of arrows impacting the shield. As you look out across the battlefield, and from the veil, you see flying creatures, a horde of demons and devils pouring from the veil itself, hulking monstrosities, as the fight at the Blight begins.
Oh my god.
And that's where we'll pick up next week.
Oh my god.
We're in the shit now, fam.
But Josh, when you started describing things coming out of the veil, there was a cockroach on
No.
It was just like...
He was like me.
From the veil.
From the veil.
I have no idea where it was.
I rolled attacks on all of you. And thanks to Arisha's shield, none of them went through.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Oh wow. Do you think that the veil, what do you call those things that I made for swords to like snip veil tethers, would be useful to them here? Like,
yeah. So
how are these creatures summoned? Are they connected to the veil?
So what you have, like, veil is a very loose term for Shadowfell. So a lot of the enemies here are going to be Shadowfell creatures. However, Caiaphas's domains and realms were also the Nine Hells and the Abyss. So you're also looking at demons and devils. So that tool that you created would be very helpful in the fighting against shadow creatures.
Question is, just from metagaming purposes,
yeah,
is the purpose here for us to have a fight before going away, or is the purpose here to leave them behind and we go to Anavir and start those machinations?
It's entirely up to you all.
I think we gotta go.